guys, happy Friday. I'm so excited. Today is my favorite day of the week. It is Friday. Woo woo. Oh, I love it. And it's not for what you think it is. Maybe you have a traditional 9 to 5 and you're just counting the hours until you can go home. But no, today is my favorite day of the week because, well, I get to come live to you, of course, that's number one. But later on today, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to do a recap of the week. But today, I'm going to finish up the week, finish it up strong, because this week is all around emotions, right? And it's really important to understand how we are wired because it'll help us be better in how we show up in our lives, living that life we want to live, right? So as you can see from today's title, it's how to know if you're emotionally driven, and there's 3 things you should know. But before we get started, I just want to talk to you about how it's essential for our emotional well-being. It really is for us to achieve self-awareness around our emotions so that we make better decisions on how we respond when we are triggered based on how we are feeling. You know, achieving self-awareness means taking time to really getting to know who you are as a person, you know, like who you are, just you, not you as a mom, not you as a dad, not you as a sister or brother or sibling or whatever, however that looks. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. You as a person to you, just you, like what makes you you. Then being open to change because change is inevitable, and embracing that pivoting may be part of the process. In fact, it's a piece of the process that we also oftentimes will resist because guess what? We are trying to control everything in our lives. It's just human nature. We try to control it because we don't know what the outcome is, and we usually are fearful that if we are not in control of every piece, of every step, of all the way, that it's not going to turn out the way we want. And so we often miss out on those amazing things. If you are open to change, because change is inevitable, and if you allow yourself to embrace that pivoting may be part of the process, and instead of going right, you turn left, that great new connection or new opportunity could be waiting for you. That thing that you've been wanting, but you just didn't know how to achieve could be waiting for you, right around the corner, waiting to be discovered. Hello, I'm Leslie Gaudette, and I'm an empowerment coach. I help my clients achieve self-awareness around their emotions so they can handle their triggers, manage their emotions, and live a more positive life. Now, if you are joining the first time, I just want to say welcome. And if you're a return listener, I want to say welcome home. So this week has been all about emotions, and I've been tackling a few emotions based on specific triggers. Now, I'm just going to silence my phone because I know it's going to find time to just actually buzz or ding or something just in the middle of it. So as I said, this week's been about emotions, and I've tackled a few emotions based on specific triggers, and today I will come to you with something else, with a new topic. But before I get started, let me explain the triggers cycle. As you can see, it's behind me, and it's definitely what's very cool about it is that I have actually found time to upgrade it a little bit. As you can see, I've made it a little bit easier for you to read, for it to be more cohesive, like it just makes sense, right? Just like real clean and clear. Hello, thank you for joining. So this is the trigger cycle. This is something that we go on every single, something we go through every single day of our lives, sometimes multiple times a day. As you can see, I wrote it in the middle, our emotional cycle on repeat. So what are triggers? Well, triggers are something that's happened, an event. What that does is that event will evoke an emotion and fuel our emotion. Then our emotion or our emotions will drive our responses, you know, and the things that we say and the things that we do. And then our responses will provide us with a reward, whether it's negative or positive. So a positive reward would be you are self-aware, you are really clear on what triggers are and what yours are. You are clear on how you are emotionally triggered, how you show up in your usual pattern and how to stop yourself. And you are self-aware of that enough that you can make better decisions and how you respond and the things that you say and do based on being emotionally triggered. And so you're able to stay present in your life, work through things, and you're good. Typically, though, a negative response is we get something happens, we are triggered emotionally, we just are quick response, and the things that we say and we do, typically someone is in the crosshairs, someone's feelings get hurt, or maybe you are in the middle of doing something and you sabotage some great thing that you're working on through just actions that you do because you were triggered by something else. Now, some triggers are the anniversary date of loss or trauma, or maybe a scary news event, family friction, perhaps you've ended a relationship, personal or professional. It could be isolation. I talked about that earlier this week. I talked about family friction as well. It could be overwhelm. And another one I talked about this week was being criticized, judged or criticized growing up. That's a huge one, especially if it's something that you formulated over time, that when someone gives you constructive feedback, you take it as a personal attack because based on the emotions that you've got attached to being judged and criticized growing up. And so this piece here manages you in the way that you are showing up in the things that you say and you do, meaning you'll just do what you do or say what you say and have to go back and fix it once you've had time to cool off and try to go back and mend those relationships. Now, I want to give you a little bit of a tip here, or not so much a tip, but just a word of warning. You might be working with people professionally, and that could be your normal MO, that when you are emotionally triggered, you just do what you say, do what you do and say what you say when in the moment, right? But at some point, those people who may have given you a pass when you've gone back and tried and mended that by, apologizing and saying, I'm sorry, I was in the moment, the heat of the moment. At some point, they're not going to give you a pass anymore because they're going to say, look, this person is taking advantage of me because this is how they emotionally show up and they don't have control over their emotions. Now you could lose respect that way from people that you work with. So this is just a word of warning. It's really important to have a handle on this. So now that you understand the trigger cycle, let's get to today's topic. How to know if you're emotionally driven? Well, here are 3 things that you should know that will be telltale signs that you are emotionally driven. Before we get to that though, spoiler alert, we are all emotional beings. So if you fall under any one of these categories, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or that you are flawed. It just means that you are allowing yourself to be open to answering this and really looking at yourself and being open to being accountable. That maybe your emotions are managing you and keeping you from living your best life. So as promised, here are 3 telltale signs that you are emotionally driven. Number 1, you're human and have emotions. No surprise, right? Well, of course, that's how we are wired. We are emotional beings. Number 2, when you are triggered, you are quick to respond in your actions, what you say or what you do. And number 3, you have damaged some relationships, whether personal or professional, and it's been really hard trying to mend them. And I just touched on that, right? Now, all of this is not rocket science by any means at all. We are human and have emotions, yes, but the key is how to tweak how you emotionally show up when triggered. That will make all the difference in the world for you to start living your best life. Simple, right? Here are 3 questions I want you to ask yourself. Number 1, are you willing to be open and honest about who you are showing up as when you are emotionally triggered? Number 2, are you quick triggered in your responses when you are emotionally triggered? And number 3, have you damaged relationships that have been challenging in mending them? I'm going to put these questions right here in the comments so you can see them. And this is important because really being open and honest that this piece may be managing you and how you're showing up on a daily basis, and it doesn't have to be with professional relationships. You can damage your personal relationships as well, just as easily. Because if you're that person who's always showing up the way you do and saying the things that you say and doing the things that you do, thinking that, well, this person has a vested emotional connection with me and they'll understand, and as long as I go back and apologize, that's going to be okay. At some point, they're going to also be taking advantage of, right? And you might have a harder time mending that. You might be able to, they might be able to say to you, well, okay, I forgive you. But they're also going to keep in the back of their mind, well, this person shows up like this all the time. They always are hurtful in their words and the things that they do. And so I'm not going to trust them. So you could lose trust. It's really important. So as I said, that is really important for you to understand around this. It's not just professional relationships that could be damaged. It could be also personal relationships. So would it be helpful to know that there is a way to manage this piece? There is. And if you want to know more about it, then just schedule a free call with me and we can dive into what it is and where it possibly could fit into your life. And as you can see, and I'll put the link in here in a little bit so that you can schedule a call. But again, it's important to know how to manage this piece so that you can live your life better. Now, here's something I want to ask you. Maybe this is something that you're looking for. Are you looking for a place to call home where you can feel supported? You know, a place where there's no judgment. If you are, then you'll be happy to know that I also created a free Facebook group. And if you click on the link in the title notes, because I put that there for you, you can become part of a community where you will feel supported with no judgment, and where you will get tips, because I give tips every week on how you can start to manage your emotions so you can take back the control over that piece and get back to what's important, and that's living a more positive life with clarity, focus, purpose, and peace of mind. Now, maybe you want to talk about that program that I've got going on, or maybe, just maybe you want to take this offline and talk a little bit more about what you're going through and maybe how I could support you personally. Maybe there's something I can give you that will just get you on your way. Just a quick tip. There's no pressure for you to join my group. There's no pressure for you to join my program. I'm offering you this free call so that you can at least see where you're at in your own emotional self-awareness journey, and you can ask questions. Because maybe, because sometimes, we're afraid, or maybe we don't know the right questions to ask. But if we start talking to someone, especially if you start talking to me, because this is my field, maybe I can point you in the direction that you weren't thinking about. Remember what I said about being open to accepting of change and then embracing that pivoting, maybe part of your process? You can be going through something right now, and this is the moment where you started watching my video and you're thinking, yeah, you know what? This is the place where I could actually pivot, have a call with Leslie, and maybe she can put me on the right direction, or join the group, because that's where I'm going to get support, weekly support with no judgment, and tips on how to start managing my emotions, right? That sounds to me like it would be something really great. I just want to go a little bit further and to say we're often looking for that holy grail to fix our problems, and we're not usually open to looking inward, but that's the place, that's the most important place to look. That's the most important piece out of all of this and learning how to manage your emotions effectively. You have to be willing to face yourself in the mirror and be open and willing to make any changes that will make you a better version of you, not only for others, but for yourself. Now, I want you to know something as well. I'm not one of those coaches that's going to say in 30 days you're cured, because there's no cure. We're emotional beings. And I think that's beautiful, by the way, to have emotions. There's so many beautiful emotions out there, but there's so many out there that we're allowing to manage us. I just want to help you to show you that there is another way. It takes 21 days to form a habit and 90 days to create a lifestyle. So if you want change, you have to ask yourself, are you ready to put yourself in a better place? And if you are, then join the group or set up a free call, or do both. Either way, I'm looking forward to connecting with you. I want to thank you so much for watching, whether you're on here live, if you're here new, if you're watching it back, if you're here new, or if you're coming back as a repeat listener. I appreciate all of you for your support. This is my passion. I love to be able to help you find ways to figure out how this piece is working with you when you're triggered, so that you can start living that life, the life that you want to live. Remember to navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude, because with the right attitude, it will put you in the right mindset for when life happens. And this is going to happen. And sometimes I said multiple times a day, it's our emotional cycle, our trigger cycle, our emotional trigger cycle, really, if you want to call it that, on repeat, sometimes multiple times a day. So it's up to you. If you'd like to join the group, love to have you, because you get a lot of wonderful information there. If you want to take it offline and talk to me personally, let's set up a free call. I've put the link in there for you. I'm looking forward to connecting. I'm Leslie Gaudette, and I'm an empowerment coach. I help my clients achieve self-awareness around their emotions so that they can handle their triggers, manage their emotions, and live a more positive life. Manage your emotions, manage your life, right? I hope you have an amazing day and an uber amazing weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Bye for now.